So, good morning everybody and welcome to PA Connect. I am delighted this morning to have with me Rachel. Rachel is one of our partners for our partnership hub, and I am absolutely excited, thrilled, delighted to talk to Rachel this morning and to show you a little bit of an insight of what comes from PA Connect and what is the point of this partnership hub that we've got in there. So Rachel, good morning. I'm so excited you have joined me this morning, so thank you very much for that. Rachel, why have you decided to join as a partner to PA Connect?
Well, it's just an exciting opportunity. I think it is something that people can get together, talk about things that are worrying them. If somebody has been, asked to do something that maybe is out of their comfort zone, to have a list of suppliers that they are readily available. They can even just sound them out if they want to, talk to them, get their expertise on board. I think, personal assistants want to provide a seamless service to their directors. And if they can just pick up the phone or wing an email off to somebody and be able, in a very short time, go back to their director and say, it's done, it's sorted. Isn't that what a PA's job is all about?
Absolutely, and perfectly summarised. Thank you, Rach. So tell me a little bit more about your company then, Rachel. So if people come to you for your services, what are they going to get from you? What can a PA depend on from you?
Well, we've been running since 2007. I started the business coming off the back of working in a very large utility company. And we've been sort of dealing with contractors one side, customers another side. So it was a really good fit that the health and safety went forward, and we were able to sort of look at it from one point of view, the customer getting what they wanted, and from the contractor's point of view, making sure that they knew they were going into a safe place to work. So it's been developed that it's a very no-nonsense, cost-effective, practical way of being compliant. I don't want, sort of people to feel that we're going to come in and take over. We work with you. We understand your business. We understand your needs, and be able to provide a bespoke service to you for all sorts of health and safety, whether it be from policies and procedures, a bit of training, whether you want, sort of weekly, monthly support. It's whatever you want, and then we'll put a package together to support you.
And I think that bit is critical about you working with the organisations. I've had the absolute pleasure of working with you personally, and that is exactly how it feels. It feels like a team environment. So not only am I learning from you and being educated by you, but it feels like you're part of the in-house team as well. That's one of the things that I love about your service.
The one thing that I always feel is that if I speak to, directors or members of the board or other members of staff as if I am an employee, it's all we and us. There's not you and you must. Everybody just feels engaged.
Yeah, fantastic. So is there anything new that's happened with you recently with your services? Considering, COVID, I can imagine you've probably been inundated with inquiries and questions.
Yeah. I mean, right from the beginning, obviously, with all the change in legislation and the guidance that was coming out of local and UK government, we had to make sure that we were keeping track of it, keeping on top of it, and we developed a COVID risk assessment that, although obviously it would be industry specific, we have a core risk assessment that looks at all aspects that any business would need to consider when they are returning back to work, looking at opening their offices back up again. How are they going to open their offices? How many people are they going to have in there? So all of the aspects of the COVID risk assessment that we've put together looks at all the basics, and then you have sort of bolt-on assessments that look at industry or space or task specific.
That's amazing. So I imagine you must be inundated with inquiries right now about that. And I assume, is that giving people like peace of mind to go back in the office? Because I know there's a lot of anxiety, isn't there, at the moment of, are they going to be safe? Are they going to feel safe? Is that come across your table with these risk assessments as well?
Very much so. I mean, I think the first questions that always come out is, I haven't got a clue how many people are going to want to come back to work. I don't know how many people I can have back in my offices, because I'm not sure what the government are telling me about, social distancing and how are we going to do this. So what we offer is, when there is an empty office, which it works out a little bit better if you haven't already come back to work, but obviously it's just as important if you already have.
Yeah.
We can come on site, have a look at what you are, what you do, your space, how many people you've got, the setup of the rooms, your welfare facilities, your routes in and out, and how we work them out, where you've got pinch points, looking at things like, what are staff expecting to see when they come back in. Things like encouraging them to bring their own food to work, that they would have their own crockery and cutlery, that there may not be the facilities that they had pre-COVID, and what to expect, and to communicate that out to the staff before they come back in, so that they can have a bit of an understanding before they come back in and see it practically. Once they are in, it's about ensuring that they feel comfortable in their space, that they have got enough sanitizing equipment and points and instruction on what to do, what desks can't be used, where they can't be seated, about maintaining social distances away from each other. So it's all about just sort of walking them through what is going to be our new normal.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Rach, because there's so much to think about, isn't there? I mean, there's so many different aspects, and actually everybody will be thinking from different angles, and have their own, worries and concerns about coming back to the office. So I think all those things that you've touched on there are absolutely fantastic. So Rachel, I would be really delighted if you don't mind sharing your top 5 tips with us for going back into the office, especially with the current restrictions around COVID. Is that okay?
The key thing is about planning your return to work. Obviously, your offices have been, or your factories have been shut now. You need to make sure that everything is up and running and working well. Things that need to be tested before use are done so, and that you know what your start date is going to be.
Yeah.
So then your space. What does it look like now? How are you going to alter it to make sure that you can manage your social distancing, that you've got good routes in and out, that welfare facilities are available to the staff and how they are going to look? And then communicating to the staff and making sure they understand what is expected of them, what you're going to be doing for them, and just so that they feel comfortable coming back in, and that they've got a bit of an inkling of how it's going to look, who's going to be there. Yeah. So then your next point is the day-to-day running. So there are certain elements of running a business, such as making sure you've got adequate first aiders, that your fire systems have been tested, and that you are getting back to doing your weekly fire tests, etc. So who's going to do them? And then making sure that if you've got staff coming in, if you can't accommodate all of them all of the time, that they know what their rotas are, so that they feel comfortable as to when they're expected into work and what it's going to look like when they get there. And then number 5 is the future. We report on the hop in March, and we all sort of were one day in work and everything was fine, and then the next day we had to start from scratch with our communication and how we got our business out to our customers. So it's very important that we're ready, that should that happen to us again, that if we go into a total lockdown, that we're ready straight away. This is how the business is going to go forward. So it's about future-proofing ourselves.
Rach, absolutely amazing. Thank you so, so much for your time this morning. I could literally spend all day talking to you. My mind goes 100 miles an hour with all these questions I have for you. But for now, if any of you at all would like to speak to Rachel about her services, especially about this COVID risk assessment, which is now available and completely bespoke to your office and your industry, please get in touch with Rachel direct. So I'm going to pop her contact details at the bottom here. But remember, as a PA Connect member, you have access to so many other suppliers. Rachel is just one of them, and you got to see this morning just a slight insight to how amazing she is. So thank you, Rachel, so much for your time. And I will pop her details at the bottom here, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you.